Well, there's tales of the West, many tales. And once there was a gang of do-gooders named Butte Posner and the Sunny Mountain Boys. Back in the days that they rode that Wild West trail to nowhere and everywhere. They tried to do good every time they did everything. They sometimes failed at it and they sometimes didn't. One night, they was a-setting out around a campfire in the great prairie wilderness. Out so far they didn't even know where they was or where they was going tomorrow. But the campfire was nice and the night was still, very still. In fact, it was so still, it shouldn't have been like that. You couldn't hear no bugs. You couldn't hear no crickets or nothing. There wasn't no wind at all. And the really strange thing was you couldn't even hear that campfire. Well, I say, let's join them now around that campfire on that night. That strange night where something or other happened. Let's take a listen.
Oh, ain't she a beautiful night, Jimmy?
Sure is, Butte.
So beautiful I can't hardly believe it. Well, the road is long and the campfire is strong, so while we're a-settin' here, we might as well sing a song. Yodelay, 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 hey. Well, I'm tired of being bad and I'm tired of being sad, so I guess I'll try my hand at being good and being glad. Yodelay, 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 hi. Oh, oh. Well, the stars above make me remember my love. Her eyes was like diamonds and her voice was like a dove. And I left her for the call of the open road, but I guess I left my heart right there at home. Ain't no use in crying over milk that's spilled. Ain't no use in sighing for a dream that has been killed. There's a brand new dream a-coming down the glory road, and it's holding out its little hand to you. Well, the road is long and the campfire is strong, so while we're a-settin' here, we might as well sing a song. Yodelay, 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 hey. Oh my, another beautiful night. Just ain't this a pretty night out here? What's that, Droopy Sam?
Well, I tell you, it's a scary story. If you want to hear it, I'll be glad to tell it. Well, folks say, Frank Nelson lived down by that old pile of stuff. What I can't tell what it is. Near to where. Well, you remember where Sedgwick Sam used to live? Well, right near to where Sedgwick Sam used to live, there was an old lady named Sarah that lived in a cave up on that hill behind there. There was 3 hills, but this was a middle hill. She lived in this cave. You couldn't see the entrance to it, but she'd come down every now and then and harvest her cactus and her plants and stuff. And she said to Sedgwick Sam that her son turned into a bobcat. Her son was a desperado. He was from the great state of New Mexico, and he come down in there, and he was a robbing and a shooting and just causing all kinds of orneriness up and down all through New Mexico and Texas and parts of Mexico, and I even hear he got as far as Guatemala one time. This here boy was just a bad piece of work, and the woman was very disconsolate, so she went to the old Indian. You know that one? Well, now, no, not that one. No, the other guy. The guy don't seem like nothing. The guy that just, yeah, he hands you your coffee, sweeps up. You don't think he's nothing. Well, I tell you, he's something. That old Injun says, you have the son. He says, anyways, I don't know how he says it, but anyway, he says it. He says, you got a son that needs to be changed and learn a couple of things. He is a predator. He needs to learn what it is to be a predator, not just a destroyer. So this old Injun takes her up, and they do some kind of something or other, and they visit this gigantic hole into the middle of the earth. It's a secret hole only the locals, a couple of people know about. In fact, I don't even think those people know about it. Only this old Indian and a few other people from all over the planet. But you wouldn't even suspect, because one of them's wearing all satin, and one of them's only 10 inches high. They take the sagebrush and they circle it around their head, and then they throw the pine cones into that hole, and then they throw the transistor radio in after it and everything's good. And then the woman says, well, I feel a strange contraction in my uterus. Can I use that word with you, Butte? Is it okay to say uterus in front of you? Well, I know, your trouble with Madge and everything. I didn't know if uterus was a tender subject or not. It's okay, all right. She had a contraction and pain in her uterus. And then she felt like it was kind of being ripped up and everything. And then, well, the story gets a little bloody after this. But she recuperated. She was fine after a while. After that night, she couldn't find her son nowheres. He'd been back from some place that he was robbing and marauding around in, and he'd been staying right near her in the shack, that nobody knows about. So then she goes up and looks all over the shack, and she don't find nothing but a half-eaten rat. She go, well, now, that boy didn't used to eat rats. So she was real curious and everything, and then she noticed there was all kind of scratches on the wall. One of the windows was busted from the inside, but it was just a little old hole, only one pane. So she couldn't figure it out, and there was glass on the outside, and there was some more blood on the around the window and everything. And so that was it. And then I'll call. Then at night she'd get visited by a bobcat. It'd come by and it would just sort of slide up in the moonlight and sit with her a spell. And then it would try to just sit with her. And then it would try to hunt in front of her and show her what it was like to really hunt. You know what I'm saying? It would sit real quiet for hours and hours and hours. And then when some, defenseless bunny rabbit come on, boom, it'd pounce right out there and get that sucker. And it'd bring it to the old woman, and it'd lay it down in front of her, and it would offer up in sacrifice, kind of thing. And it kept trying to speak to her, it'd say, I think he was trying to say mama, but I don't know. Oh, excuse me. I got this weird rash. Take a look at this, Butte. You ever see anything like that? Boy, I tell you. But all the different colors on it and everything. It looks like a map of some place I might have been once. Well, I hope that the map of the place ain't appearing on me again. Excuse me, Butte. I think I got to visit the latrine. I think it's time for a little song.
Once there was a cowboy His name was Frank McGee. Rode way out west to find a land that's wild and free. Did old
Well,
Frankie find
sad to say,
after
Droopy Sam was never seen again.
the decades slipped on?
He shuffled off into the darkness. You know, they really should have noticed that there was no bugs, and there was no wind, and there was no sound of anything, including even the campfire. That meant something was near. Beat Posner had never seen the like of this thing. Stay tuned.
He found a land that's strange.